A gCADPlus user is having difficulty removing or deleting a layer in this particular drawing. The layer in question is one called hatching. And if you're having difficulties of this type, the first thing to look at is the number of objects on that layer. And you may be able to see here that there are 5 objects on that layer. So let's cancel it. Now we want to remove that layer. Firstly, we need to remove everything on that layer. The easiest way, because this is a drawing with lots and lots of layers in it, is to use the isolate layer. And we'll be able to click here, come down to hatching, and OK that. Now what we see are a number of entities in the drawing. So just start bottom right with a crossing window and select them and delete them. And we'll then come back to our layer stack. We'll say all use layers we want to be on, and back everything comes. Now when we go to our layer stack and we look at hatching, we've got it on, and if we try and delete, well, we can't delete it because we've got a darkened little icon there. I'll just pick all layers for the moment, and you see here there is layer 1, doesn't have anything on it, it's actually turned off. Can you see there are no objects on it? So that's a clue to us. So hatching's still got something on it, layer 1 has nothing. So we can pick layer 1 and delete it quite easily, but we can't actually delete layer hatching, and that's the problem this user is having. So the most common reason for a problem like that is that if we swing to layout space and we pick the floating viewport, can you see the user's put that floating viewport on a layer called hatching? And so we actually need to remove that and then delete the layout or change the floating viewport to another layer. Once that's been done and we return here, and you see layer hatching can now be removed. And when we save this drawing and load it again, those layers marked with a cross will disappear. Well, our user is reporting another problem. If we go to layout here and we look at this drawing and we want to select that floating viewport, can you see that with a crossing window I can't pick it? Yet if I double click in there, we are into that zone that we use to change the view in layout space. So let's display that one. So we now zoomed in and there's clearly a floating viewport there, but we can't pick it. And one scratches one's head from time to time. Why is that so? Well, of course the reason's pretty obvious. If we come here, can you see layer hatching is still on? Sorry, layer hatching is still current. I'll make layer 0 current. We can see hatching layers actually turned off, and we weren't aware that it was turned off. As soon as we turn the layer on, we can select the entity that's on it. So if I go back there just to illustrate, and I'll turn the hatching layer off, and I'll come back to the model and I'll make my drawing color red so that we can see it, and I'll say draw a circle. I'll put a big circle in here and in it goes. But if I made the layer hatching, remembering it's been turned off, and I'll change my drawing color to green, and I'll draw another circle overlapping this one, nothing appears to happen. However, if I go back to layers and turn the hatching layer on now, there's our green circle. So it's very easy to get a bit frustrated, especially when you start using gCADPlus.